Hi there. As of now, SUI is down by around 9% this week. Let's look at it through the Wyckoff lens and see what the whales are actually doing. If you're new to my session, I'll cover the Wyckoff stage, potential trend change, as well as key price levels. These are education content, not financial advice. The weekly chart of SUI is showing us that the second test, the stage after the panic over period back in December last year, has gone very deep. Okay, there's no doubt across the board, it's been a bloodbath for altcoins. But for the case of SUI, you see this very long wave when the price got to test the 0.75 light blue key level. All right, if you look to the left, that's a level where the accumulation cycle midpoint is around back in 2024. Just roughly a year and a half ago, the accumulation cycle for SUI, you see this somewhat near the 50% mark, because if this is the red key level of 1.08 is the top of that accumulation cycle, the bottom is 0.45. This is somewhere in the middle. Okay, 0.75. So we are back to testing that level again. Remember, during the accumulation cycle, meaning the paper hands, diamond hands testing period, sometimes it can finish very quickly, depending on macro factors, sentiments of the market, all that sort of things. When the whales see opportunity lining up in the coming months, that they have sufficient news to push the price for a distribution, they'll do it. If there's not enough good news, they'll let the price linger along the accumulation cycle just to, chunk up a little, come back down, chunk up, come back down. It can last for as long as 2 to 3 years, depending on which crypto project you're looking at. It happened in the 2002 to 2004 period. If you look at enough charts, you can tell. If you go to Ripple, you can see how it was suppressed back in that 3-year period. Back to SUI over here. What we expect is more sideways trading along these 0.75 light blue key level, as well as the 2.12 purple. So between these two lines, that's the base case, but it can go deeper. I already mentioned that many times in many sessions, the test can go lower than the panic over stage, much like what it did over here. And it can certainly go lower for subsequent tests, as long as there are paper hands willing to sell. The price can go even further down. And the lowest point back in SUI's history is this red key level of 36 cents. That price was set back in October 2023. Okay? So giving you the macro picture, what we need as a confirmation now or in near future is something we call a sign of strength, meaning the price advance with volume. Price white candlesticks coming up with volume higher than average than prior period. That's condition 2. Condition 3 is for the price to challenge this blue line, 1.93, this blue key level of 1.93. Best if it can challenge the 2.12, because that's where the automatic rally came to challenge. Okay? Big picture set. Let's move to a micro. We talked about this downtrend for a couple of weeks now. We're still in this downtrend. Yesterday, it tested the bottom of the downtrend. Let's adjust this a little so it's a little bit tighter, touching the wicks, both here and here. However, if the price really got slashed down, we have to adjust by then. But as of this moment, it seems it's still intact, so we'll keep it this way. You can clearly see that the red key level of 1.08 still acts as a resistance, pretty strong resistance, because that's 2 days ago, that's where the price started to drop fiercely down to gain solid support at the blue key level of 88 cents. So once the price hit the bottom of the downtrend, the bulls came in hard and pushed the price back to the blue key level. These dates that would give us potential trend change confirmation remains more or less the same, but let's adjust it because we've adjusted the channel box. So that is making these dates 1 day earlier than last time we drawn this box. So 9th, 12th, and 15th, meaning the price, if it managed to climb to above the red key level and gets into this triangle, you get an earlier date of potential trend change confirmation, meaning the price goes outside of the downtrend and at least trade sideways, if not upwards. Of course, it can come down later on, developing a new downtrend. We'll have to observe and adjust by that. The next date is the 12th, where the price continues to stay above the current 0.99 key level, heading towards this triangle. And if it ever comes down to test whatever price level is tested yesterday and the day before, this 0.88, it will be the 15th of Feb, right after the Valentine's Day. So by the time we get to next week's session, we'll be able to see whether the bulls have sufficient bullets to grab these opportunities, or we have to add in new dates, which we have indication like the 19th and the 23rd. But like I said, we'll add those in next week's session. If you're interested to access these sessions 2 days earlier than the others, join the channel membership now. Here's another video you may be interested in. Thank you.